So I've said this before, but I'm gonna put it in its own video because I think it deserves its own separate focus. Men have testosterone, and so do women, and men have estrogen, and so do women. So we both have both, and especially on women's periods, testosterone is like more abundant. That's actually what causes PMS for women. That's why they get more, you know, craving intimacy, so to speak. They get hungrier and they get more aggressive on their periods. That's literally why. So that's why women understand like what men feel all the time. And it's like if men can't handle a woman having that in her blood for a week, they need to start imagining what it's like for us to have to deal with them basically being on their period all the time. We never get a break from that with men, so we can understand it, but that's also why we know that is not the driving force to why people are getting raped and unalived. That is not the reason. And I'll tell you another reason why it's not the reason. Testosterone's not why people have stuff like that happen to them. Because if that was the case, women would be doing that stuff on their periods. But the real reason is testosterone's actually just energy. Okay, so they did a study on testosterone showing that what it actually does is it reaffirms a social structure. So, for example, if they give Buddhist monks more testosterone to do this study, they'd go out serving people all day because that is how the social structure is set up. But in many places in the world, it is actually a punching down system where purposely set up like this, by the way, to prey on the weak and to see people who are like Buddhist monks as actually weak when it's the complete opposite. That's the farthest from weak that you could possibly be, to actually go out of your way to help humans that are really quite selfish. That is the complete opposite of a weak and cowardly person, isn't it? Because it takes strength. You're pulling strength from within, from nowhere, to do something that is not what most people want to do with their time, right? So it doesn't even logically make sense that that's what we've all been programmed to think is a weakness in the first place. But it's just this punching down system where, we're preying on smaller people. And even like the smaller built men understand some of the degree of what women deal with. See, men can hide behind, even the smaller built ones, they can hide behind the fact that they have a male body. Women can't hide behind that. Their softness is out in the open and exposed to the world. And even though men have that same softness deep down, even if they have a physical male body, everyone has a heart. Even though men have that, they can hide behind the fact that they have a male body, and this protects them. But they also deal with the same thing that we deal with men, and that's why they fawn, or it's like a Stockholm thing where you're trying to please the abuser or the person that's bigger than you, and you do things you think that they'll like, or say things you think they'll like, to appease them so that they don't hurt you. This is what literally men deal with as well. And you want to know why I know this stuff? I was in male groups the majority of my life. I was one of the boys. I was purposely trying to be, because oddly enough, they wanted me to be a boy so that they could date me as a girl. It's very strange. And that is another subject that we need to talk about too. There's a lot of people in the world, especially men, that are not open to liking their same gender when they do. And what they're doing is they're taking that hatred and they're hating themselves, and then it leaks out onto other people. So they start hating other people that remind them of their own hatred for themselves. If you have a heart, or their divine feminine within, if you want to call it that, like their emotions, if they hate that part of themselves and they've severed it off purposely, like numbed it out so they can pretend that strength somehow, they are going to hate people that embody that. So if you look like a feminine or a person with all your emotions showing the world, being brave, because the world doesn't accept that, and you're still being brave enough to show the world that you're a real person. I grew up the same way men do, where I wasn't allowed to cry, but I had something different than most of you guys, where I also wasn't allowed to be angry. See, you guys are allowed to be angry, but imagine not being able to have both of those emotions and only being forced to only show that you're happy all the time. So you can't cry and you can't be angry. So I have both worlds, both genders deal with. I've been on both sides and I know the ins and outs of what both sides are dealing with. And that is a reality for men, that they're not allowed, quote unquote, to cry. But the thing is, you have to teach yourself this stuff. I taught myself that not letting myself cry wasn't allowing this flow of energy to, just how you have to drink water and then you have to expel it. It's the exact same thing as that. Your relationship with water is very important. It's a cycle, and part of that cycle is crying it out. Your brain physically has a detox when you cry. When you're holding all that in, it's going to come out as anger. And that's an overuse of an emotion that you don't really feel, which again is like turning you into someone that you're not. And it's hiding and burying who you really are. And then pretty soon you've wasted your whole life being someone else. And you've wasted your life, period. So we need to stop wasting our lives. The biggest revolution, the biggest thing that all of us could do is to know who we really are. And that is the definition of what self-love is. To just know yourself. So there was something else I was going to touch bases on, but let's see if I can remember. So I really do know how men feel, and you'd be surprised like how easy it is to see through you guys. I really do know all the stuff that you're dealing with, and that's why I'm trying to open things up so that you guys can heal your mental health, and women can too. You'd be surprised how much in common we have with each other. You'd be very surprised. I mean, even just the testosterone that women experience has got to get you guys thinking, right? And the other thing with that I just remembered was men, because of their testosterone and their bodies, how they're built with more muscle and strength, you guys are literally designed to be the helpers. So when you're not helping and doing stuff to like with your energy that's testosterone to serve like the Buddhist monks do, you get bored. And this is why you guys may choose women that demand more out of you and ignore the women that are doing everything for you. That happens all the time. But you guys also, kind of cheat yourselves out of this by saying that you want girls to do everything for you. You're cheating yourselves out of the fruits of life, the whole purpose of life, because that is the purpose. That's where you get fulfillment. When you do things to serve other people, you build a connection, and the connections are what make you feel and know that you're living your fullest potential, because you have a connection to the world and to other people, and you feel valuable because you're being valuable. But when you're not doing those things, you're going to feel bad about yourself. And so that's where all the self-numbing comes in, and you know, over sexing yourself, over, using substance. It's all a mask to numb the pain. Like, all of this stuff you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is. It's not about the substance, it's not about the activity. It's about the fact you're trying to escape your life.